day, November 20th, we are more than halfway through the month of November with writing those novels. And I have already had to pivot more than once. So this video is just me talking about what that experience is like and what I do when stuff goes wrong in my manuscript. It is the middle of the day. I'm on my lunch break from my day job. My day job is I'm the promotions coordinator at Draft Digital and I'm the merchandiser at Smashwords. So I look at bookish things and bookish information all day as it relates to other authors and my own stuff. With that being said, I identify patterns a lot easier. I identify things that are missing a lot easier. As I was going through my manuscript and I'm kind of finding my flow, I realized I have a whole moment that has not been captured that required an extra chapter that I did not account for. For me, that can kind of derail my creative flow because I like to kind of break my sessions up. And my mind is already made up by the time I'm in the session. Like, I know this session is my planning session. I know this session that I'm reading. I'm doing this, whatever. Right now, I'm not reading anything. We're just on the gas going, but I haven't really been on the gas per se, because I did have days that were already scheduled that I knew I would not be writing whatsoever. And I got sick, which was not ideal. So what have I been up to? Well, first, I had a birthday on November 17th. I will include footage of the festivities and how it relates back to my author journey. Again, when something derails me, I like to put my mind at ease by doing something else. And sometimes that can be having a life experience, that can be working on a different project, which, by the way, because of this, I was able to figure out some things about a different project altogether. To kick off my birthday weekend, I decided to go to Mississippi, which is where I am from, which is where a great deal of my family still live. But on the way, I decided to drive up through Birmingham. You know, Birmingham, where the fine police chief is. He's fine. But I went to Birmingham and I went to the Alabama Festival. I went to the Alabama Fiber Festival. I will insert footage of that. I had a wonderful time. That was my first fiber festival. I have not purchased any like natural fiber yarn as of yet. I do, well, other than cotton, and it was because like it was on sale and everything. But they had like wool, alpaca, sheep. And let me just say, to get into these grandma hobbies, it costs money. But I didn't purchase anything. I wasn't planning on it. I just wanted to kind of look around. And I did. I went to the mall and I went to a really interesting kind of witchy shop and bought a bunch of incense that I've been burning pretty much all day. Anytime I get derailed on a project, my advice for myself and for others is to have some pie. What is pie, Megan? Pie is pause, inhale, exhale. Sometimes you can get so worked up that you miss important things. It's not the end of the world. I do know I'm going to finish this project. I also know that this chapter is necessary. What I ended up needing to do was to slow down, which I was not accounting for because I thought I had covered everything I needed to cover when I did my initial outline and brainstorm. But that's another one of the joys I find in being more of a plantster, which I like to plot and pant. Everything does not get revealed to me at one time. And as I'm writing, things start to shift and change. And I come across situations where it's like, that's not quite working for the vision I have in my mind for this particular scene or it changes in some way. I needed to deal with that. And in dealing with that, I realized my stakes were not high enough to create the urgency needed for what needs to come next in the book. So I had to up the ante, which some authors miss out on. It's like your stakes aren't high enough, so therefore it's not interesting enough. While my videos are more geared toward authors, I do realize that readers may come across it. So if I'm going to give spoilers or anything, I will try to put up a disclaimer. But I realized that the male main character, he was going back to convince the female main character to come with him. But the stakes weren't high enough. Like, I needed him to not take no for an answer They are fated mates. So in the least creepy way possible, not take no for an answer. And to make sure that that is impactful throughout the rest of the story, I will have to go in through the scenes that occur before that and kind of sprinkle in some things for why this particular thing happening is a bad thing. Happy Thursday. So even though I go on lunch break and everything, I still end up sometimes working on stuff. Anytime you encounter a hiccup in your book, have some pie. Take a minute to step back. And again, remember, it's not the end of the world. And you rather be able to get that clarity now than to release the book and have readers come back with confusion, which isn't uncommon. And I work really hard to make sure that none of my chapters are just fluff because I don't want to have words. I don't want to put words in for the sake of a word count because I'm trying to hit a number. Like everything needs to be impactful. Every chapter matters. And I think it's important to remember to have those transitional chapters, even in something like a romance. Which you think is it's just love and it's just love, it's just this all the way through, and it's not. You still have to have those moments of reflection. And I also needed to add a chapter, which I needed to do. It's post the meet cute when she's realizing that she was mistaken um in their first interaction. So she's embarrassed. She's reflecting on the time that she had and she's trying to figure out like what happened? How did we get here? So things that I know I would want to cover is her emotions. This transitional chapter has a purpose of really breaking down and detailing where is she at emotionally and mentally, because she had a service. She paid for that service. It was wonderful, knocked her socks off. But turns out the person who provided the service was not who she thought it was supposed to be. But he went along with it, and she's trying to figure out like what the hell. And so to not have her reflect on that and how she feels would be a disservice to the rest of the story and a disservice to the readers, because I would have feelings on that. I would probably have mixed feelings because yes, I got what I wanted, but the person who did it was not the person that was supposed to do it. Why? Do I want them to do it again? Maybe. I don't know. So those are all things that have to be answered in the next chapter. And then with that being said, he still has to convince her that he's not a psychopath and to come with him. And he can't take no for an answer. There are lives at risk. See now, and I didn't have that at first. And as I worked through the scene, I realized I needed to up the ante. I needed to intensify the reason why he can't take no for an answer. She has to come with him. So regardless of her feelings, there's an outcome that needs to occur. Will it occur? Will he respect her feelings? Will she run from him? Like, so all of those things have to then be answered moving forward. Just a quick short video of where I am in this project. I did finish the baby blanket that I was working on as I was dictating my way through writing this novel this month. I will insert a clip of the recipient. She loved it. I do still have some yarn left over, so there may be a baby hat and some booties in the future. I don't know. Thank you for joining me this short little transitional video as I just kind of give you an update on things and where I am. I don't have any word counts because like I said, I have been slightly delayed with some things. Oh, and I got sick on my birthday trip. So that kind of put me down for a lot of the week that I was not accounting for. So I'm playing catch up with some things. I wanted to do a cute little segment where I introduce you to what I am reading. This is the book that I am reading. I Accidentally Hired a Shadow Walker by Jessica Cage. And it's book 3 in her series. I have read the other 2 books. They are amazing. You should go check her out. I still may pivot to a different project that I'm closer to finishing than this one. I will let you know on future updates.